Hey y'all, before we get started with today's video, I just gonna have to put out a quick apology. This is probably got to be one of the longest videos I've ever edited and put together. It wasn't intentional. There was just so much information I wanted to share with you on the pump for L2theW 700R4. Lots of good information. A lot of this same information will apply to the 4L60E rather, and I probably won't do that long of a video when I do Scarlett's 4L60E unless you guys comment and tell me otherwise. So I hope you all enjoy the video, and y'all take care, and we'll see you at the end. Bye bye. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy Smitty. Glad to see you come back. If you've been following on the build, we're doing L2theW 700R4 here. It's underneath the plastic being protected and everything. And we're just about done with this dude. It's coming down to the nitty gritty where we're modifying. Today we're going to do the pump. And I decided to make the pump just one video because there's quite a bit to do to it. And we want to make sure that it's right. One of the big things is on the Sonics kit, they want you to make sure to, I think they said something about using a pink spring. They don't want you to use the white one because of flutter, which I don't know, since we're doing a pump, the actual upgrade to the pump as far as converting it from a 10 to 13 vane. I don't know what applies in that instance, but I've got several other pumps here, so if we need a different pressure regulator spring, we can pull it out. I can also, they give the part number for the pink spring, which is 8642-751, and I can order that from work if I need to. I also am going to ask them, this kit, the SureCure kit that we got for them, comes with a 471 thousandths boost spring. The standard or maybe stock is like a 423 thousandths. What I can do is I can pull the original one out of his pump and I can measure it and tell you what size it is. But they make a 500 thousandths boost valve. My whole goal in building this transmission for him was obviously to upgrade the performance for durability, but it doesn't need to chirp the tires. So, like I said, today we're doing the pump. So, his pump was damaged pretty bad on the inside, so we got this reman pump. I've got a new rotor, although this rotor in this should be new. Or slide rather, good Lord. Slide, I got a 13 vane rotor. All the new vanes. And again, everything in this pump should be done anyway. He's already installed where I got it from. They already installed new bushings. Sonics has a couple, and that's not one of them. That's probably the bottom one. That's the bottom stator bushing, which is this one here. That's that bushing, it's the same one. So they've already pressed a new one in there, so I don't have to change that. But this is the Teflon coated torque converter bushing, which I doubt that's what's in this one. And looking down in that hole, no, it's just got a regular piss. I didn't want that to happen, but yeah, that one's just got a regular copper one, and you can see down in there. Well, we got to pull the seal out anyway. We got to pull the seal out because we need to enlarge the drain back hole and make sure it's good to go. But anyway, so got that. Got the new pressure regulator valve. This is your boost valve assembly. This is the 471 thousandths. New small parts for it. New pin. I also found in my stash I have a brand new servo pin if I need it. This is one that's got extra length on the tip. So if we need to use this, we can shorten it to get the right travel on our 2.4 servo. So at any rate, so that's gonna be basically what we're gonna do there. And I'll probably grab the old pump. We'll start with the old pump, and I'll take the pressure regulator valve out of it and see what spring it's got in it, and show you what they used from the factory back in 700 R4s. So yeah, I'll get you set up here and let's get going. All right, so let's get that out of the way for one. Let's get the other pump. Yeah, see, this one here has a white spring in it, and that's what they tell you not to use. So we need to find the replacement spring. And the reason why they tell you to replace it is it says that it likes to fade and cause a no 3/4 shift. So let's get this thing apart here. I'm gonna find my little snap ring pliers. Just, there's a little clip right down in there. Just grab that clip and pull it out. Like that. And this thing will probably be stuck in there. There we go. Yeah, see, this has got a white spring in it. Let's see if this valve will come out of here. And there's your factory valve. This is your pressure regulator. Yeah, this one is a this one's 422,000, so this is like a stock application. So any improvement on that area is going to be better off. So this is your pressure regulator. This is your reverse boost. So we can't use anything out of that. It's got me curious whether or not this pressure regulator was actually wore out. Let's there's a test that you can check the bore. Alright, now this is kind of tricky to get back in, but what you do is I grab my clip priors and just push this down with a screwdriver. There we go. Alright, so they want you to do a wet air check on this to find out whether or not you got a good pressure regulator valve bore. And I'll check it on the new one too. So let's put our soft jaws in there. Good thing it's the old one. And what we're going to check for is the worn TCC bore, which is this one over here. So the way they tell you to do that, they want you to fill this passage with ATF. Well, that's not going to work worth a plug nickel. There we go. All right. And plug this hole here. Put your air there. Now see that? And that what they tell you is if you see bubbles come up there, then that means that TCC bore is wore out. See the bubbles blowing? So that TCC regulator valve in this pump is wore out. So we're going to check that same thing on this other pump. So again, if you plug your thumb over the end of the hole here and put a little bit of air down in there. If you see bubbles coming out of that bore, then that TCC valve is wore out. And that's what you call a wet air test. All right, enough playing with this one. All right, time to get into the new one. But first, we're going to turn on the fan, because it's getting warm in here. All right. So let's get a 13 and get the pump bolts out. Yeah, and see, if you look at this one's got the white spring in it too. So we're going to have to order the spring for the pump, because it doesn't come in the Sonics kit. I mean, they did a beautiful job remanning this thing. I mean, they machined the surfaces and they look freaking top notch. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing on this one. We're going to check that pressure regulator bore. So let's put a little oil down in that hole. Get a little much in there. Where's that fluid going? Oh, it's filling up the other hole. That's alright. Alright, so same thing. Put your thumb over the end of it. Hopefully you won't see any bubbles. Yep, we got bubbles. And I'm not giving it very much air. Whole bunch of bubbles. So we're gonna have to repair that. So I will get the I'll get the kit ordered for that. But in the meantime, we need to put our oversized valve in the pressure regulator. Alright, so we know that we've got I've got the new TV valve coming from Sonics, so we need to go ahead and take these apart. Need to take it apart anyway because we're going to put the oversized valve in the the TV valve and all that good jazz. So we've got to ream it out. So I'm just getting down in here with these little snap ring pliers and getting this snap ring out of here. There's that little snap ring. We're going to put that right there in that pocket of that cover and get your little spacer. And flip this dude over. May have to give it a little persuasion. Push it out of there. There we go. Note which way it goes in. The big tank goes out. The little one goes in. So and there's two springs here. There's a yellow and what looks to be a white almost. I'm gonna get one of my little bags here to put all this stuff in. That and to keep it clean. Just like that. Okay. So next we're going to do the pressure regulator. Oops. Sorry about that, y'all. And I still keep hitting it. Put this stuff in another bag. And just for curiosity, we're going to measure this dude. see what's in it. Would you believe that? This dude has got a 500 thousandths boost valve in it. Hot damn. Nice. Okay. Well, this is an aftermarket one. Either that or we got lucky and it just had a 500 boost valve in it, but let's get a 500 thousandths boost valve in it. Let's get the rest of it out. This is the spring they want you to change. So we'll put all that in our bag. Okay, we're going to can these Teflon rings because I don't use the scarf cuts on mine, I use the solid ones. And let's see what else we can take out of this dude. Obviously the screen you can take out, which is this dude right here. That dude's brand new too. And you got one more right here that's got a roll pin in it. Which you should be able to push that out with a screwdriver or something. Put your thumb over the hole. Press on this side right here. Kind of looks like a nail on that side. Once you get it out that far, you can grab it with a pair of pliers. Just kind of work it out. That spring's under a lot of pressure, so be forewarned. Pull that spring out and there'll be a check ball down in there. It looks to have something on it. Let's look down in that hole and see if there's anything there. No, doesn't look like it, but what we'll do is we'll take and when we put it back together, we'll take this check ball and we'll tap it in the bottom of the seat, and that'll make a new surface for the ball. That in there. Alright, now we're on to the reaming stage. And I do have the soft jaws in here so it won't damage anything. This is an oversized valve. So we need to kind of make sure that it's not already been done. And it has not, because it will not slide down in there. Just pull that dude back out. And we have the Sonics reamer kit to fix this. And it does come with instructions. It tells you exactly how to use it. Just like that. And what this does, is you put this through this sleeve here, and then this will go down in here. Make sure that goes all the way down, because otherwise your reamer won't go all the way in. Now they tell you to use cutting oil on this. You can use transmission fluid. It's a good cutting oil alternative. Now we need to find the drill. And make sure it's on slow speed, because you don't want it going very fast. And I'm going to rotate this dude to the side, because it'll make it a lot easier. Give it a little snug there. We'll go ahead and chuck this up. You don't want to, even though it's on low speed, the slower you can go at it, the better. So I'm going to squirt some oil, transmission fluid, in this hole right down here, which I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Move this way. Alright, what we're looking at is this hole right here. Give that dude some good lubrication. You want to lubricate your tool. Like I said, go in there and make sure the sleeve is bottomed out, kind of like that. Okay, and watch right here. You don't want to go back and forth. You want to make one pass, let the tool do the work. All right. And you can see it took quite a bit of material off, so you'll want to clean that out real good. I'm taking brake wash this out. Okay. Kind of hard to show this. There you go. You can see that dude's reamed all the way to the bottom. So now your new valve should slide in pretty nice. Oh yeah, super smooth. We're looking at us right here. This valve right here, and it moves nice and free. It's very smooth. So that's good to go. By the way, these flutes and stuff like that, you need to make sure to clean them. And they are very sharp, so it's easy to cut your finger on them. Just FYI. Alright, I got this thing mounted back up here, and we can put our reverse boost and our pressure regulator back in it since we're done with that step. Before we go any further, let's put our tool up so it doesn't get damaged. Well, I guess we need to get the pink spring, don't we? So we'll wait on that and get the pink spring before we put that back together. So, guess let's start on the other half of the pump. Yeah, you can see now that they just put a, I don't like having the camera this far away from me. They put just a regular bushing in there, so we'll be putting a Teflon one in. The pump, though, we ought to keep because, I mean, it's brand new. If somebody needs a stock pump. We'll put all of our pieces in here. This one's got a dual spring on it, which is fine. The more pressure, the better. Just gently slide your slide up. There'll be a seal and a piece of rubber right there. And underneath this slide, or this pin, and this pin's got some wear on it, there's a little spring down in there. Them June bugs are already, it's not even June. There's your little spring. So don't lose that spring. Because that we'll need to reuse. If you look at this thing too, this slide is not new. It's well used. Like right there, you can see a spot. Interesting enough. But the rotor and the vanes look like they were brand new. So I don't know what the deal is there. Man, it's early in the year, guys, to have June bugs out already. I call them June bugs, but there's those dang yellow flying beetles. Alright, well, let's get the seal out. I need a piece of cardboard. That way we don't mar up our surface. There you go. That's what I was talking about, those dang June bugs already. And they're annoying as shit. Oh, excuse me. They're annoying as all get out. Alright, knock this bushing out of here. It's the right size for an installer. Okay, so now we need to enlarge the drain back hole. And let's see what they said they wanted that at. I think it's 1/4 inch. Yep, 1/4 inch. So, I don't remember what my 2 bits that I got, my long ones. I bought these long ones just for doing this. Oops. Can you believe this didn't have a size on it? Well, I guess I could use my mic and find out what size it is. 1/4 inch would be 250 thousandths. And this one is 250 thousandths. So that's a 1/4 inch bit. So that one's already opened up there. Yeah, that one's already opened up. I think we might run it down through there just to be on the safe side. Yep, that one's already opened up. So there was 3 holes that they wanted to make sure was opened up. That one, this one here, this drain back hole here, and there was one more. Okay, the mating surface on the pump itself. So which they say is right next to this land. This one right here. So they're wanting you to make sure that that hole's opened up. That one is not. So we don't need that long bit for that. Let's see if we got a smaller one here. Yeah. So let's go after this one. That didn't take much. So that should be it for the modifications. Let's see what old Sonic says here. Okay, we got the TCC valve coming. Got that coming. Okay, we need to work on the pump. Alright, let's put our bushing in. Okay, I know that there was a place that they wanted it, and I think this is at 12 o'clock. That Teflon bushing. Alright, I figured this would be the easiest way to do this, since I've got you off the tripod. What I'm doing here is I'm measuring the clearance on the pump. So this dude will slide around. But what you want to do is you want to take a feeler blade, and as long as it moves around, you're good. But you don't want any more than 2/1000ths. I think it's 2/1000ths of clearance, 0.002. Now this is I've got a 0.002, and I already know that it doesn't go under there. So if you try to slide that dude under that, it won't go. Same on this side. The camera doesn't do it justice, it doesn't pick it up. But I mean, if I really force it, see, it's got some drag on it, so it's actually pushing the straight edge up. If I put a 1.5 thousandths under there, which is the smallest one I got, it won't easily slide under there. So I know I've got the right clearance there. You also want to do the same thing with your slide. So grab your slide here. And put that dude in there. I'm not going to put the pin in it, but it'll get us for checking purposes. That's about where it sits, so that thing should still be able to move. And that's a little tight. So that's not going to fly. Man, I really need a point of view camera. See, even if without it, it's moving the straight edge, which means it's too tall. So this thing measures 0.7 0.7075. Yeah. Okay, so this one's 0.7075. We'll just write it on here. 0.7075. So let's measure, just for giggles, let's measure the one that came with the pump. Yeah, see, this one measures that measures about the same. But I can move it. Interesting. Very interesting. This thing's been machined on too. Turn this light off. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but up around the edges here, it's got a rough edge right here. And you can feel it. It feels like it's been machined. Like right here on this edge. Right there. You can see how it's got some tool marks there. So I grabbed the slide out of the kit that I got for Scarlett's 4L60E, and that one actually slides underneath of there. So just the tolerance of it is that tight that the other one would not fit. This is my 1.5 blade. I can't get it underneath of it, but it does move nice and free. And even if you push down on this a little bit, it still moves around. So that's what we'll do. We'll use that slide and the 13 vane rotor. I've got to pick up some Loctite 609 for this bushing to lock it in the bore. So yeah, and I'm going to take this to work and use the press so I can press that bushing in to get it good and square. Just doesn't cock it sideways. I don't want to hammer it in there. So yeah, I'll be back with you. Alright, so I got the bushing pressed in there, and I went and got this Loctite right there. And doesn't like to focus. There we go. Penetrating thread locker green. That's what Permatex calls it. Loctite brand 609, and it is green. And it's a very light thread locker. I'll show you how thin this stuff is. That's just barely tilting the tube over, and you can see the dabble it left, and you can see it's kind of spreading out, but we'll just smooth it out. Anyway, you got to put that behind this bushing to lock the bushing in the bore. Also, we finally got our pieces that I was waiting on. This is our 500 thousandths boost valve right there. And I apologize for the noise in the background. Neighbor decided to mow today. I don't have much way around that. And then we also got this here, which is a TCC valve. It's got a PTF E-seal in it to seal it in the bore. And then they also recommended with their kit to use a pink pressure regulator spring. This spring is no longer available from GM. I found it through my supplier, and that's kind of a generic number, so that's actually an A in Red's number. But I went ahead and picked up like 4 of these, so I've got some spares. Not that they're going to run out anytime soon. I think he said he had, I don't know, he had 17, either 17 or 70 something of them. So either that, or you can buy the the one from Sonics. I think they give you a number here. Yeah, it says right there. Don't use the white spring, which is what this had in it. Likes to fade, causes no 3/4 shift. Best to use the pink spring. You can use a green or purple. Pink spring, they give you the GM part number. Like I said, that is no longer available. But then they get the Sonics elevated spring there. So, anywho, so we can officially put this part of the pump back together, and then we'll put this part of the pump together with our vanes and our spring and rotor and slide and all that good jazz. So I'm going to set you up on the little tripod here and let's get going. Alright, so let's get into this TCC spring. Alright, that's actually a hard Teflon seal. So and you can see they give you a nice groove to put that dude in. We're going to slide this in backwards just to kind of size that ring, just like that. Alright, grab our spring out of this one. Our 2 springs. only thing we're not using is the valve there, so we got our snap ring and our little retainer. Dip that dude in some oil as it's going everywhere. There are 2 springs on there. And slide that dude back in there. Okay, you are going to have to give this a little bit of persuasion because of that Teflon seal that's on the end of it. Okay, once it gets past there, slide your retainer in there. So you got your little spring retainer, E-clip. Alright, make sure that you get this E-clip all the way down in there. If you don't, it will come out. Well, it won't, because the valve itself is, the electrical part sits in there, but make sure that you see all the gap that clip has got in it. Make sure that you see all that gap. If they're close together, you don't have that sitting all the way down in there like it's supposed to. Let me get some light for you so you see it. Maybe a little better. I'm trying to keep the flashlight out of it, but there you can see it pretty good. Make sure that you got all that gap at the end of your ring there, and that it's all the way seated in there, and that's good to go. So take and make sure that you got good action with it. Just try to move that valve in and out, and it moves nice and free. Alright, on to the pressure regulator. You know, it turns out this thing had a 500 boost valve in it, but I'm going to go ahead and put a Sonex one in it. Just like kind of like to keep everything. And I don't know how old that valve was that was in there. So, man, I don't want you getting that out of there. Goodness. That is a snug fit. Snug like a bug in a rug. Alright. Get a little fluid on this dude. Slide it back in, so it's not dry. Okay, so first things first is this valve. This is your actual pressure regulator valve. See, it's got a land in it. The factory one did not. So first things first, this valve. You got to remember, since you ream this hole, it'll be a snug fit. Okay, then you get your pink. Can't hang on to it because my hands are slick. Get your pink spring. Well, the Sonic's reverse boost valve is quite a bit different. As you can see, it's got 2 grooves for O-rings there. And if you look at the valve itself, it's actually got a pinhole in it. And compared to the factory one, no grooves on it. And if you notice, the bleed hole's in a little different spot. Not that that should make a whole lot of difference. But if you notice, there's no bleed hole in this one. That's the factory one. The valve itself is a little different. The one on the right is the Sonic's valve, and the one on the left is the factory one. And it's quite a bit bigger. At least Optical Illusion is. Let's find out. This is the Sonic's one, and it is 200 and $283 thousandths. I guess it's about the same diameter, it just looks different. Optical illusion, but anyway, so let's slide that dude in. Slide some O-rings on here. And we'll put a little trans gel on them. Make them slide in there a little easier. Back in we go. once you get it in there, you want to check your movement, make sure your movement's good. And it moves nice and free. It's beautiful. Again, make sure, can't stress this enough, make sure you get that E-clip all the way down in that bore, as it goes a ways down there to get into that groove. Alright, we got one last thing to put in. Well, two things. One, we need to put this check ball back in this seat here. And it is right in front of me. Check ball, spring, and a pin. And if you notice, it's got a recess, which the head of that pin goes in this side, okay? So when you put your ball down in there, take you a punch, preferably something about the same size, and give that ball just a couple of light taps. And what you're doing is you're reforming the seat in there to make sure that that ball seals good. And see, it'll still come out. So put that in there, put your spring in there. Find you a suitable pushing device to press that spring down in there. There you go. Now I know I did that the hard way. I should have put it in the vise, but my vise still isn't bolted down, so. Alright, so this part of your pump is done. All except for one thing. And that is, you need your filter to go in here. And put your little trans gel on that O-ring so it slides in nice and easy. That dude goes right there in that hole. Okay, that part is done. Next is this half, and what we're going to start with is the hardened pin. Alright, I'm going to start with the Sonex hardened pin. Okay, don't forget this little spring. That little spring goes on the end of this, and that whole assembly goes down in the pump. Just like that. tell you what, I'm going to tell you the easy way to do this, because you've got to put the 2 seals in that goes there too. Double check myself here. Yep, we're good. Alright, so grab your sack of goodies. So you're going to need this big O-ring. That big O-ring goes right in this groove right here. Like that. Then you have a big steel retainer. Goes right in there like that. Now everybody does these a little different. Alright. You can use transmission fluid or trans gel. But whatever you do, don't put it together dry. Alright. Lay that dude down in there like that. Then grab your 2 seals, which is going to be this little rubber here. Just a little piece of rubber, and then this kind of like Teflon deal. Rubber goes behind the Teflon, and they just slide right down in there in that slot. Then push your slide over enough that you can get your pin down in there. Well, Sam Hill happened there. Alright, well apparently my ring come out. Put a little trans gel on there to hold it in there. There you go, there's your pin. Give a little, I go ahead and coat this bushing too. And put your you got this little spacer here, goes on the pump in these grooves. There's notches in there. They only go in one way correctly. Like if you try to put it through that way, you see it doesn't fit down in there. So just turn it and get your other 2 marks in there, and then it'll drop in. Those feel like cast iron. You don't want the cast iron ones of these pump rings if that's what they give you. Alright, so we got our other steel ring, and obviously the easiest way to tell, the black rings are ductile iron, and obviously the steel ones are shiny, but the black ones are iron. Anyway, so that'll go in right there. Your pump spring. What I usually do on these, they're kind of a booger to get in. What I do with them is, since this is steel, I'll get on one side of it and use a screwdriver as kind of a ramp. And the older you get, the harder this will get, because it takes some finger strength. Use a smaller screwdriver. Alright, I'm sure you didn't want to hear me cussing this spring because it wasn't having it, but I finally got it back in there. The dual springs are even tougher to put in than the single spring, I'll just tell you that right up front. Alright, so now we are ready for the vanes. So here we go. Again, don't put it together dry. I like to use just a little bit of trans gel on the vanes, just so it has some lubrication. It actually serves two purposes. It creates like a hydraulic seal, a vacuum seal, so the pump will pick up fluid as soon as you start it, and then the fluid will take over from there. And this version of the assembly lube is like a low melting point, so it don't stay in there very long. That, and with pump pressure, it'll wash it out anyway. Just kind of put your vanes in there one by one. And I'm not putting very much on there. I'm just enough so they're not completely dry. When you get to the point where you're about ready to get all of them in, that's when you might have a little difficulty because of that bottom steel ring not being in the right spot to where your vane will go all the way down in there. I got an, I missed one, that's why. I got an extra. No, I don't. Just missed a hole. Now, the only reason why I'm putting the 13 vane pump in it, well, there's several benefits, but it provides a more stable oil flow. So that's why I do it. If you've ever seen a 700 R4, when you get full pressure and everything on it, they like tendency to bounce around on the gauge. So the 13 vane helps eliminate a lot of that. I'm taking smear you a little trans gel on your pump face here. Like I said, it doesn't take much, because it'll fill up with fluid pretty quick. No. Okay, pump alignment's pretty critical. So once you get it where you need to. Me, I can eyeball things. I know people do this many different ways, but your edges need to line up. Alright, so one way you can line this pump up is, again, do it visually here with the side. It's going to be whatever works best for you, just as long as you get it lined up. Another way you can do this is take your input housing reverse drum out of there and just set the pump in there. Now, granted, all these bolts are loose. So take and set your pump in there. And if it's close, it should drop pretty close down in there. Just kind of like that. Now, I got lucky on that one because that usually doesn't happen. But what you can do is you just rotate this back and forth here. And you can move the pump around. If that pump moves pretty easy, then chances are you're lined up pretty good. Another way you can do is look down in your hole there. Look down in your hole. If I can get this to where you guys can see down in there. There you go. If you don't see the edges of the bolt hole all the way through the pump and you see the threads, then you're in the right spot. So after you do that, very carefully pick this pump back out of there without disturbing it. Okay, while you've got it sitting down on the bench, take your taking very carefully, flip that dude over, and just taking snug a couple bolts. Alright, once you snugged a couple bolts and everything looks pretty good, do another test fit. Just take your pump and see if it'll drop back down in there. Yeah. See, it won't go back down in there, so you need to take it out and do the process over again. We're going to try method number 2 this time, which basically you're going to find a bolt, you're going to tighten it up from underneath without flipping it over. This is doing it without the tool. They do make a tool for it. It's just a great big hose clamp. Alright, gonna do the test fit again. Alright, so the last thing we got to do is we got to put these white Teflon seal rings on the stator. And we have a tool for that. I had a big old bag of these, and for the life of me I cannot find them. I had to rob them out of Scarlett's Foil 60 kit. But like I said, we've got the tool, so this is your sizer. Set this up so it's on the first land. Close enough. Push that dude down on there. Kind of smush it in the groove. There we go. There's that one. Get lined up for your second groove. Like the sound effect. Smush that dude in the groove. Once you get it close, you can put your sizer on there. Just like that. While you're waiting for that to shrink down a little bit, you need to find your washer. That's going to be let me get it out of here. This white dude right here with the two tangs on it. Just put a little trans gel on the tabs to hold it there. And it goes right on there like that. So there you have it, y'all. The pump is completely assembled. We've got our seal and retainer put in on the front there. Yeah, I blew all the paint off of this thing. I ran it through our parts washer at work, and most of the paint come off. Pretty funny. Anyway, that dude is ready to go. So there you have it. There is the pump for L2theW, is all ready to go. So make sure to tune in for the next video, and we'll get you the next section of this thing, which I'm going to show you a different way to test everything. But that's going to be it for the pump. Make sure to smash that like button down there, and there's a subscribe button too. So make sure and hit that dude also, if you would please. And then right next to the subscribe button, there's a little bell there. Click on that, and then it'll ask for all personalized or no alerts, and do the all. That way you know when I get a new video posted. With that being said, y'all have a fantastic evening, day, whatever time you're watching this. And take care of yourself, take care of each other. God bless you, and God bless America. We'll see you later, guys and gals. Bye.